Sunday's vlog, October the 5th, 2015. Just a couple of stray thoughts that come across my noodle this morning. There's a few things actually I think I wanted to bring up about just the overall situation regarding whites. We're almost politically correcting ourselves out of existence, which is exactly what the Zionist Jews want. Their plan so far has performed brilliantly. And at the same time, they made it so that interracial relationships are to be totally accepted. And 9 times out of 10, when you do see a mixed couple, the female is usually white. There's a recent commercial that I've seen. I think it's is it Auto Trader or Cars.com? I forget which one it was, but there's one of the ones that got a couple that are trying to upgrade their cars as they go in their relationship. Eventually, you find the minivan found on their app. And, of course, it's an Asian guy and a white woman. And by the time they are getting ready to find the minivan, she's already fully pregnant. So, there's also a Tempur-Pedic commercial where a married couple is in there, thankfully showing no children. But the married couple looks like, at least, I have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure, but the Tempur-Pedic commercial it looks like a light-skinned black man and a white female. So again, they constantly put this shit in your face as being totally acceptable and normal. We've also seen a lady there in England who is on the welfare system. She has multiple children, obviously clearly out of wedlock. She defends the dad and does not mention who he is, though it's clearly obvious most of her children are all by the same father because they all look the same. And she's a white English woman, and he's obviously black. So, I mean, now I think the last time I remember looking at the article, she had like 12 kids or something like that, and all of them are black. And most likely must from the same guy. So, yeah. You know, because, I mean, my mother did Section 8 housing management for 20 years. And she would tell you stories as a taxpayer that would just totally turn your stomach inside out. These girls know how to manipulate the system, play the poor me syndrome. Of course, that's what the system wants. If you ever notice, the system is totally geared on misery and also on hardship. For example, I've mentioned before that a good buddy of mine, his niece, by the time that she graduated from high school, was able to brag that, gee, Mom, I was able to get out of high school without getting pregnant. Well, they had a big old argument after that, and not too long, she suggests, well, since you're an adult now and you're graduating, why don't you get the fuck out of my house? Okay, fine. So she left. Well, she ended up staying with her uncle. Well, gave her simple rules: don't disturb my house. If you come in late at night, either don't come in or be totally quiet because I have small children. Not a problem. Well, she goes out and frolics through the park and has a couple of boyfriends here and there. Well, of course, what you know, she goes up and she gets hooks up with a jigaboo and gets knocked up. What a shocker. And of course, she decides to keep the wee baby. So, I mean, the funny thing is about that is, I think at that particular point, she was a hairdresser or something, and maybe trying to do a waitress job on the side, maybe like a B-dubs or some pizza joint or something. I don't remember what it was. She's trying to make ends meet and having a hard time. Well, she goes to ask for some county assistance, and I shit you not, with it being Clark County, which has a large black populace because of Springfield, she's in there trying to get assistance, and they look at her, and the black lady behind the counter literally says, well, you're a pretty white girl. You shouldn't have any problems getting a better job or making ends meet, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, really? So I don't know if she dragged it in at that point or made a second appointment and said, well, look, I got an Oreo. Well, gee, shit, man. The whole table is turned at that point. Now you're a statistic. And next thing you know, they go up and throw everything but the kitchen sink at her. And she gets all these bennies and all sorts of shit. And then at that particular point, the whole point is the hope that she will vote Democrat, more than likely. If not, she would definitely vote for largesse, which is the human services levies that they always push every few years. Which is really sad because a friend of mine from high school actually does work for human services in Montgomery County. But she's on the fence on the issue because obviously, you know, if you don't vote for her, she may be out of a job. But at the same time, it's like you just keep on inflating that balloon and eventually it's going to pop. Because everybody's playing the poor me syndrome and gimme, 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 and nobody's going to have enough to do anything about it. So it's complete fuckery is what it is. But nevertheless, so those are some of the things that we've seen that pretty much if you are a white female, you are expected to bed down with monkeys and any sorts of other minorities. It's generally regarded in society, in suburbia. That's another thing, too. White flight can only go so far because, A, we're only breeding maybe 2 children per couple, and at the same time, as soon as the children become of age, when you're stuck in the inner cities, you go to the burbs because the schools aren't worth a shit. So, next thing you know, everybody goes to the burbs. Well, now we have HUD trying to force a program where they start pushing housing vouchers into white neighborhoods. So some seriously issues going on there. Nevertheless, it is an issue because of the fact that it creates not only a problem demographically, but now you're putting way underclass people into prominent or successful, peaceful white neighborhoods, and then it stirs them up because we all know when you got as soon as you have the black family or the mixed couple that move in down the street, before too long, man, they start having all their friends and family and buddies start showing up, start having parties and shit. Oh yeah, that's how it starts. And then if the broad, if it's not the whole couple itself and the mixed couple, then they start breeding like fucking mice, man. I mean, next thing you know, they got 2, 3, 4 fucking kids. It's like, holy shit, dude. You know, one of the things that really disturbs me about a white people is that as soon as they have 1 or 2 kids, they cut themselves off. And a lot of it's due to financial reasons. It's not because they don't want more children. It's simply because they generally can't afford it because of quote-unquote white privilege, you can afford to have more if you choose to. Where for minorities, they're paid to have more children. It's a complete bait and switch, and it's a double-edged sword. But the problem that you have is it's working for them, it's not working for us. You know, I saw a statistic not too long ago. It says whites breed on average 1.2 to 2.2 children generally per couple. Not always. Usually the favors the lower over the higher. Blacks generally breed 2.4 to 4.4 children per female. Yes, per female. Hispanics breed 5 to 6 children per female, and they start very early. I mean, no sooner do those girls start hitting puberty, they're already getting hit on. And then Muslims, they outbreed everybody 3 to 1. I mean, shit you not, especially if they have opportunity to go to white country and live off a large ass. They breed, on average, 6 to 10 children per female. Per female. So, I mean, that is absolutely numbers you cannot match. And in Japanese, for example, their population is dwindling. They've actually been told that sex is a bad idea. They would rather have virtual sex or general masturbation over actual sex because of the fact that they're basically being taught that there's too many of you and you should stop. And again, why is it the Japanese can have their own country? Why is it that Saudi Arabia can have its country? Why is it that, Brazil could have its country, and Israel, of all fucking people, fucking bullshit Jews, can have their country because they're basically either kicking out or ethnically cleansing their fucking borders, that's for sure. But nobody says shit. But white countries are for everyone. That is the definition of white genocide, and it's definitely becoming an issue. And we're seeing it in our neighborhoods. But God forbid you should say anything. You're a racist, a hater, a Nazi. But you know what? If that's the case, then I'm a fucking Nazi because of the fact that I'm standing up for my people while I have a voice to do so. You better start speaking now because you won't have the chance later. Because you can see every time minorities get control of local government, they start switching shit to their people. In the South, there's roads, parks, and monuments named after Civil War veterans. They're being changed. Albeit in your face. I've often said too, there's very selective on some shit. How long is it before Dayton has an Angela Mayu road or some shit down the main street replacing Ludlow Street or some shit? If anything, I said if you are going to have a goddamn street, don't name it after Martin Luther King as a complete fraud. You should have Malcolm X Boulevard somewhere because of the fact that he was the real deal. And he died for his beliefs in the right way. You know what I mean? Where King was actually a fraud in many different ways and all sorts of shit. And there's a myth that's been built around him. But when you go back and listen to Malcolm X, dude, he's the real deal. So, nevertheless, I think it's an issue that needs to be addressed. But you need to put some provisions in place that once things are named, they cannot be changed because they're named for a reason to honor someone who's done something of some purpose and reflective of that community and of its heritage. So, I think some things should definitely be cemented in place that they should not be messed with. That's for sure. Oh, just my personal opinion. I'm not a religious man in any way, shape, or form. But I think the fire hosing rain that South Carolina has gotten is retaliation. It's Providence retaliating for taking down the Confederate flag in Columbia. You bet your ass. So let that be said. Never had that much rain before until you took that flag down. Nope, you got what you deserve. Now we really get to see how Nikki Haley performs under pressure. Not that I don't think she won't do a good job, but that should be a finger in the eye of some of the shit that you may try to pull. So anyways. All right, so launching my house, go to Twitter at St. Thomas Show and Truth Emerges RDO, and then on Facebook also at St. Thomas Show and Truth Emerges RDO. SpringboardTeaPark.com, StThomas.com, CFCCOhio.org, TheHMD.com, and give us support and like on Facebook for our advocacy page to Air Alex Jones and WHO and WKRC respectively on Facebook. So launch them out.